Are we doing this thing?
Yeah,
Are we talking hitting today?
talking hitting.
All right, so let's talk some tee work. A lot of hitters get in here and they say, I just have to hit the ball up the middle. Hitting the ball up the middle is great, right? But especially in the game, it's because your timing is perfect. A lot of times we hit the ball right at the middle, so that's good. But in the game, a lot of times our timing is not going to be perfect. So I've talked about working the edges of the zone before. What I also like to do is get in here and work gap to gap. Right, so you hear a lot of hitting coaches, they talk about working gap to gap in the game, and especially in BP. Kids a lot of times will get up here on the tee, and they're not really focused on working gap to gap off the tee. And it hurts them because they have a one-dimensional swing. They're trying to hit everything up the middle, which is fine, all right? You can hit a pitch outside up the middle for a base hit. You can inside out a pitch that's middle in, up the middle for a base hit. But ideally, where our money is made is in the gaps, right? Our money is made with doubles, home runs, and doing damage offensively. So what I like to do is I'll kind of back that ball up just a little bit, catch it a little bit deeper. But you obviously see this ball is catching a lot of the plate, right? But I'm still trying to move this ball to the left center gap. If I kind of overspin it like that, it's just an adjustment that needs to be made. So if you can kind of come this way, I want you to see ball flight. But this pitch is middle away, but I can still do damage here. Right? So I really want to try to drive the baseball right at the shortstop. I want to get right at the shortstop, but I want to create a little bit of backspin. Like backspin is kind of misinterpreted now. So when we're working gap to gap, the way that you generate backspin to the gaps, right, is by hitting the ball flush, quality contact with the barrel, right? It's not necessarily trying to swing down, trying to swing up. It's trying to have as much quality as you can through the zone. So to demonstrate, that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to create and then go. If I can create that same swing path for that pitch middle away as I do middle in, then it's just a matter of timing, right? Pitcher's job is to throw off hitters' timing, right? Well, if we're practicing the same swing path, then what happens is we don't really have to make adjustments. We just have to make sure that we're on time. Number one rule in hitting, get a good ball to hit. Number two rule, always be on time, right? So I can set up the same way. And if I'm working gap to gap, right, I'm okay if I pull that ball, but what I don't want to do is I don't want to pull it with topspin. I want to pull it by hitting it flush and not necessarily having to adjust where I am on the plate, right? So I want to catch this pitch right here, right? But if I needed to, I can catch that pitch over here and go the opposite field gap. You're trying to generate a swing that's going to give you the best chance to be successful. So I'm taking the same swing, I'm just varying my contact point, right? Kids got to do this, right? You have to work the ball away. You have to work the ball in. You have to work the ball up. You have to work the ball down, okay? Tee work is not just to get loose. Tee work is to work on something in a controlled environment. The more controlled environment that you have, the more mistakes that you can make and understand why you made those mistakes, and therefore then make the adjustment. So, talking a little out breath here. So, just a couple more here. So I'm sitting here saying, okay, 2-0. Okay, go ahead and throw. And again, you're going to notice these are line drives. They're not designed necessarily, talk to enough good hitters, I'm not trying to necessarily hit the sky, okay? But I'm not trying to hit the bottom of the cage either. If I can hit head-high line drives in the game, that's going to translate really well, okay? So, again, same spot, working gap to gap, nice and easy. Boom. And if you can do that, you'll be a really good hitter.